So this was just under 200 bucks. And so it comes with your tie rod ends and the ball joints. And it just measured it. Looks like it gives you about 10 millimeters of relocation. Yeah, about roughly 11 millimeters. And so that just basically recenters, or actually just gives me the right angle back slightly down to my steering angle here. And it really minimizes the bump steer when you're going over bumps. So here's the old tie rod end. And then here is the ball joint. And you can see it was basically up in there flush to here in this surface right here. And then that one is up the same distance plus about 10 or 11 millimeters down. So now it gives me a lower angle, which is more to stock. Probably could lower this even more, but coming up on winter, and I'm going to put my taller tires on here, so kind of leave it where it's at for now. Maybe in the springtime do a little bit lowering. Probably go just a touch in the back, but then come down maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe 5 millimeters or so, just to give a little more rake and really get the most out of this relocation kit. So you can see this thing is thrashed. So highly recommend, and some other videos have recommended it. There's basically a tool that sits on the bottom of the steering knuckle there, and then there's a thread that comes down, and you basically your ball joint comes through the bottom, and you screw a nut on, and it pulls the ball joint out. So I should have gotten that, but I had to call a mechanic to come down and help me get that off. Basically, we just took the steering knuckle off, and then once we got it off, we could, if you get this pinch bolt off, just take it off of here, take it off of the lower control arm, and then you have better leverage. And basically, just kind of hammered it out through the top. Good soaking with PB Blaster, just get some kind of rust penetrant. Soak it quite a bit. So those tools aren't that expensive, so I recommend, probably next time I need any kind of ball joint activity, I'm going to order one of those. So number one, good soaking, and definitely get that tool to remove the ball joint. Tie rod end is very simple. When I was done, I had to basically correct the toe angle. And since I've been doing so much with the suspension, I still have a little more negative camber than I want for this stock, pretty much stock wheel setup that I have. So I'm going to get in alignment when I get my winter tires on. Have them check it out. I don't want any uneven wear. I'm not doing any racing, so I want to keep it kind of stock. So it was pretty rough getting them off. So, but the rest of the work is real simple. The car wasn't that old, so the axle came right out of the hub. Real simple. Your only problem is going to be that ball joint, because that gets rusted up in there. You can see it's a clamping, holding process. So that's open to ambient, so you're going to get all the weather going in there. And my car is a 2017. It's not super old, but it doesn't take that long to rust that up in there. So not a bad idea if you have kind of a regular maintenance schedule. Kind of spray in there with some kind of lube, and then maybe a little bit of grease in here, but that'll, it won't last a long time, but might keep it from getting to where you need to replace your knuckle if you get down the road and you need a ball joint. So if you want to avoid all that, It should go very smooth if you get that specialty tool, so highly recommend that.